Oh my God, the Jets are 0-6, losing once again this week, 13-11 to the Denver Broncos over in London, in a week where there were so many positives, so many improvements made, so many things went well for this Jets team, and the win was right there. The win was right in front of this Jets team over and over and over and over again in the second half, and they couldn't grasp it. They simply couldn't grasp it. The defense was awesome. The defense was awesome. Special teams was awesome. But because the offense was utterly inept, it gave me nausea watching this Jets offense. I don't want to overreact and credit Denver. Vance Joseph, in my opinion, they're the best defense in football, leading, they're number one team in sacks, number one team in the red zone, number one in so many different defensive categories. Obviously, this defense is amazing. And the Jets, from a talent level, from just an overall experience level, is just, everyone knew that the Broncos defense was going to have success today. But to this extent, Justin Fields sacked 9 times, 55 yards lost in sack yardage. Over half of a football field in sack yardage. 9 of 17, 9 completions, 17 passing attempts for 45 passing yards. Fields had no idea what was happening. And again, credit Vance, but no idea. He looked lost. I kept hearing Kurt Warner complaining about why are they running the ball? Why are they running the ball? Has Warner seen the passing attack this season? It is non-existent. We have a quarterback question mark, a quarterback that struggles with processing defenses and also has an elongated release and has struggled with accuracy. We have no wide receivers outside of Garrett Wilson. We're starting a rookie tight end and we don't have our best offensive lineman. Obviously, we're going to be running the football in this game. Again, the Denver Broncos have the number one red zone defense. They're number one in takeaways. They're number one in sacks. They have the leading, I would say, defensive player of the year candidate in Nick Bonito on the team, the league leader in sacks. They're second in opposing completion percentage. This Broncos defense is elite against the pass. Does it make any sense to have Justin Fields drop back 30 to 35 times? No, you got to run the football. But here's my big issue. It can't just be the same 3 to 5 step drop back in the pocket every time. It's either you got to get Fields outside of the pocket a little bit more. You got to take some deep shots a little bit more. Maybe, have some quick RPO looks, right? First, or even just saying that, hey, look, Fields, I understand that we need to try to develop you as a pocket passer, but your number one trait as a quarterback is running. We got to play to that strength. If you want to start Fields, you got to let him run. Now, who knows? Maybe that was, maybe Inkstrand was in Fields' ear a little bit, saying pull the ball down and go. And Fields was just complete deer in headlights and had no idea what to do. And I don't think the offensive line really helped him out either. But oh my Lord, was the offense just excruciatingly painful to watch. My God, we're waking up early on a Sunday morning to digest this Jets team, this winless Jets team. And the defense is showing up. The defense, they're flying around the field. They're coming up and making tackles. They're not being flagged. They take the ball away. I mean, what a performance from Steve Wilks. We're complaining through the first 5 weeks of the NFL season. I mean, we talked about this exact situation in the preview video, right? Where because this Jets defense has done a lot, mostly the same thing over and over and over, again, in these first 5 games, you now have the ability to throw a wrench in Sean Payton's game plan by doing something completely different this week, right? That's kind of the beauty of being this one-trick pony on either side of the football. The opposition is at the mercy of you if you do decide to switch it up, because there's just not much tape on that, on this different style. And so what we saw out of this Wilkes defense was a really nice combination of man and zone coverage. It seemed like there was a big uptick in zone coverage today. By the way, my guy Jarvis Brownlee making plays in the slot immediately. A humongous upgrade over Michael Carter. Humongous. Malachi Moore, right? No Tony Adams. Safety play, a lot better. Jermaine Johnson looked like a man on a mission today. He made such a big difference, not only just on the field physically, but also as a leader. I mean, how many third down stands did this Jets defense force? Not Denver just making mistakes. Denver, it's not like Bo Nix threw 4 picks or anything. No, it was the Jets. Like they were doing some pretty good things. Some pretty good things in the defensive side of the football, man. I felt like we were able to, really handle the run. Who was the league leader in rushing yards for Denver? J.K. Dobbins at like 40-something yards. The defense did enough to win today. They held the Denver Broncos, the 3-2, now 4-2 Denver Broncos, to 13 points. And again, with special teams, McNamara pinning Denver's offense back. Punt coverage was awesome. Nick Folk, when he had his time to kick, was good. Our return men setting the Jets offense up in midfield over and over and over and over again, giving the Jets great field position. Brownlee's forced fumble, boom, we land on it. Can't convert early. How many the Jets had, it felt like 1,000,010 opportunities today on the offensive side of the football to get it done. And look, even a touchdown in the end, the Jets didn't even need a touchdown in the end. We just needed a field goal, and we still couldn't get into field goal range, right? Now, I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of complaints about Aaron Glenn, deciding to not kick, try to kick the field goal on 4th down. Personally, I would have kicked it on 4th down, despite it being a 62-yard field goal. How many of I think there's 15, 16, 17 field goals beyond, 62 plus yards made in the history of NFL football. In the history of the game, there has been less than 20 field goals made. So, obviously you're against the odds with trying to kick a 62-yard field goal. But you know what? I got to be honest. I like Nick Folk's chance of making a 62-yard field goal over watching the Justin Fields offense today trying to convert on a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, whatever it was. It was that bad. So, man, I wanted to come on here talking about the first win, Aaron Glenn's first W, the defensive performance, special teams. We were only flagged today 2 times. That is such a big improvement over what we've seen. There were no stupid penalties. We didn't have the stupid special teams blunder. Oh, we're giving it away. We didn't have the Breece Hall fumble, the Braylon Allen fumble on the goal line. So, here's the good news. I think the Jets looked like a lot better of a football team today than they have in the entire, yes, I'm including the Pittsburgh game, the entire season. Today, I felt like was just such a strong performance on two phases of football. But as far as the offense goes, Justin Fields at the end of the day is just, and look, I don't read too much into the whole he's only effective in garbage time. I think garbage time, that term is overused. But it's clear that he is just not seeing the field. He's not processing well. The ball is coming out late. He's not accurate. He's not shown accuracy, especially in these past couple weeks, but really throughout the course of the season. Pittsburgh, he was accurate, but outside of that, and ironically enough, he was throwing a wet football in that game against, a good defense. Just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense how he was accurate in that game, but since then hasn't really been. But the Jets aren't tied to Justin Fields. They're not. This was the beauty of the whole Darren Muji contract to begin with. It's a 2-year, $40 million deal. It's a prove it, hey, you're a young guy, former first-round pick, you have an upside, you can run. Let's see what you can do. Muji didn't invest a second overall pick like Zach Wilson. He didn't trade a boatload of picks like, getting Aaron Rodgers in back in whenever that was, 2023. 2022, again, whatever it was. They're not really invested. I don't want the Jets to necessarily lose the freaking locker room here by sticking with Fields. Now, of course, we don't know the conversations that are being had in the locker room, but I do feel pretty confident in Tyrod Taylor's ability to pass the ball better than Justin Fields. And look, if Justin Fields was out there scrambling around, running around, taking, the ball upfield, I wouldn't really have so much of an issue with it. But when you're trying to run an offense, right, this run-centric offense, and you're saying, okay, Justin, you're going to be taking 3-step drops, 5-step drops, trying to beat teams from the pocket, and we're not really going to utilize his legs. And again, is that a Tanner thing? Is that a Fields thing? Is it a combination of both? I don't know. But I think really the bottom line is this. If you want to continue to roll with Fields, you need to let him run. You need to. You have to let this guy run and utilize his legs. Just like we saw against the Pittsburgh Steelers, just like we saw a lot in Chicago. Again, if you want to roll with them. I don't want to see the Jets continue to trot Fields out there and have him sit in the pocket and try to diagnose this defense with a lackluster wide receiver room outside of course, Garrett Wilson, and again, his best offensive lineman in AVT missing. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, I'm saying, I'm not saying, oh, you can't do that ever. Obviously not, right? This is the scheme that Ingstrand and Glenn want to roll out, which is fine. I don't really have a problem with that. I think if we had a quarterback with a quicker release and, quick processing ability, I think there's a couple guys in this NFL draft that really excel in that area. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but the point is, if you kind of have that processing, I think the offense will look smoother. And it's not to put the entire loss, all the offensive struggles are on Fields, but man, it is so hard to watch. It's so hard to watch. So again, if you want to roll Fields out there, let him run. And I think that message needs to be drilled into his head as well. If that first read isn't there, just book it and move. Book it and take it upfield. But if not, if the game plan, if you don't feel confident in that, or you are watching today's game, if you're Tanner on, playback on the flight home saying this cannot happen, then just go with Tyrod Taylor. You don't have to worry about think about the whole Zach Wilson, Mike White thing. Mike White, you he collected the locker room. He had all this belief, and New York didn't even bring him back. Because of the whole, Zach Wilson's feelings and stuff like that. Well, Zach's the guy. He's the second overall pick. No, the clear move is to bring Mike White back. But they didn't make the smart football decision. Everyone knew this at the time because it was cater to the crown jewel, the high pick, second overall guy here in Zach Wilson, who's Joe Douglas's guy, who's Robert Saleh's guy. We have to cater to him and make sure that he feels like the franchise is still his. We're not in that position with Justin Fields. Don't lose the locker room by sticking with Fields if he cannot play. So I'll leave it there. Jets lose 13-11. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, go Jets.